Okay, so this spreadsheet here is our job cost and bonus calculations worksheet. Basically, this is what we use to do our job costing, and then we also figure out our bonus payouts for our employees on the project and whether or not they get them. I put together basically a template with instructions, right? So on this first page, you're going to have this section is all frozen to anybody who downloads this. And this is going to have what each of these lines means, right? Our job total. It's intuitive, but I put instructions in here anyway. I did fix the percentages on this one at what we use, but you can edit your own template here if you want to change up. We do our hours of budget based on $65 an hour. We do our labor budget at 45%. Material 15%. We have a 6% commission that we pay a salesperson, and we're aiming for a gross profit of 40%. So some people may have higher, lower numbers. You can edit all these in your template, right? We just filled one out for 5 painters, one for 10 painters. You're just going to copy and paste them into your workbook, and then fill them out as you want. But I wanted to do a video. Some people are not as familiar with working with spreadsheets, and there are some ways to mess them up because they have calculations built into them. So I just want to do a quick recap of kind of what we're doing here, and if you mess something up, how to get it back. So for these formulas, they all have all of these numbers here where it has a formula built in already. If you click on the number here, there's a formula listed up here on top. Same for your labor budget, because we're just doing automatic number. So if we come in here and we change our job total to 1,000, these numbers automatically get updated, right? We change it back to 1,600, automatically updated. So some of these numbers are just going to pull automatically based on the percentages that we set and the formula that we set. So an example here, we're doing our labor budget at 45%. So this is equals sum parentheses C39, which is our total, right? Column C, row 39. And then it is times the asterisk 0.45, which would be 45%. And then the closed parenthesis makes the calculation actually work. So if you want to change that to 50%, all you would do is go in here, change that to 0.50, and now you have a whole different budget here, right? You can do that with your materials budget, with everything. I'm going to change this back to 45 just so it's consistent with the notes. So just kind of pay attention to which ones have formulas already built in. So our hours budget is C39, which is our total, divided by 65, which is our dollars per hour. It's the same thing here. If you wanted to bill at $85 an hour, or that's your production number, you just do total divided by $85 an hour. You have 18.82 hours to use on this project in order to keep it at 85 an hour. We do ours at 65, which is why I have that in here. Materials budget, same thing, 15%. You can change that up or down. The actual hours, this is going to be an added number here. So when I was going through filling this out just for this template, I'm tempted to put in my actual hours here, but if you just put them in here, fill them out, it'll start changing that number by itself. Actual labor cost. This is going to change. This is a number you're going to input the cost. You see here, input cost, input cost. Now on this one, because it's not a fixed rate, your different employees are going to have different pay rates. Some people have workers' comp that they pay, some don't. So when I enter in our number, I cover about 11% for our employer taxes and 12% for our workers' comp. So I put an actual exact number in here on what my cost is for the labor on the project. Materials, same thing, input cost. So whatever your materials are, total them up, put in that number. We have 6% commission for a salesperson. So we just calculate this at 6%. You could make this be a 0. You could make it be a 10%, 1%, whatever. This could just be a number you enter in every single time. And I would just take the formula out in that case. Gross profit, 40%. This is what I have it listed at. So we've got 45%, 15%. The remainder is 40%. That's our gross profit. Again, you can change this formula up here if you want to tweak your numbers. You know, some people would be 40% labor, 15% materials, and then 45% gross profit. Our bonus payout. Now, this is our total that's left over after total minus labor, minus materials, minus gross profit. So once we get paid, then we have our total bonus payout. So there's $216 left over from this project. This next one could be confusing, but for our lead painter, they get 20% right off the top of that bonus. So they get their 20% here, right? Lead, 20% extra. This is what's left after that 20% payout. So this formula is 216 minus 4320 equals 172.80. Now, from that 172.80, the remainder of the bonus gets paid out based on how many hours each person worked from the project. So this person worked 16 hours, this one worked 8 hours. They get 66%, they get 33%. So they're going to get their 66% bonus here, plus their 20% extra. Their payout's $158.40. They worked 8 hours, they're getting 33% of the remaining bonus. They're going to get $57.60. Now down here, these templates are copy and paste. So you would go through here. You don't want to ever change the one on this page unless you're changing your template. So if you're going to change this to 50%, this to 10%, that one to 10% or 0, you can make your changes here on whatever you want the fixed rates to be. And also, if you have 2 painters only and you want to put them in here, I wouldn't change it on this side, but you could. But basically, you would just change it in the next section. So if we copy this and then go to your workbook, this is going to be where you work out of. I put a couple in here already, but we're going to just put another one in, paste it in, and now we're ready to go. Now we can change our painters' names in here based on whatever project they were on. And then we just start with zeros. Now from here, we would do our total for the project. Let's say it's $2,500. That's going to give us 38.46 hours for our budget. That's our labor budget, $11.25. This is our materials budget, $375. Our actual hours will get populated here, our actual labor, actual materials. So if we say John worked 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. Steve worked 8, 6. Our total hours are now going to go to 46, right? So our budget was 38.46. Our actual is 46 hours. Now our actual labor cost, let's just say 46 hours times $25. So our actual labor cost would be $11.50. Our materials, if our budget's $375, let's say we're at $350. Okay, we have 0. I don't know how I made that work out. 0 left over for a bonus, right? So these guys are not getting paid on this. Now, if our materials are $250, they've got $100 to work with. So our lead painter gets an extra $20 right off the top. And then he's got 52%. This one's 47%. Here's our total payouts, $61.74 and $38.26. Now, the reason this helps with job costing and why so many companies that are a little bit larger talk about this constantly is because if you have just an extra half day, we're adding on 4 hours. And now our labor cost, let's see, goes to $12.50. Now we have 0 bonus. If that's 8 hours, let's say an extra full day, this goes to $13.50. Now we're minus 100. Okay, so our gross profit just starts getting eaten into. So now we're not even at 40% gross profit. So just little changes. If something goes over one day. Now on the other side, if we're under, now if we get this down to $1,000, big bonus, right? If this is a 3-day project and somebody's getting a $170 bonus, that's pretty big. And these bonus payouts can be smaller. You know, it doesn't need to be $170 bonus for a 3-day project is pretty good. I think any painters would be happy, and 40% gross profit is pretty good, especially if you don't have much overhead. We typically end up with like a 17% net profit at the end of the year. That's after paying out an owner salary as well. So it's healthy for us. But we do higher volume too. So 40% on a couple $1 million is some money to play with. Now, if you're like a 1 or 2 person shop, you're probably gonna have a higher gross profit margin. And so you might change your goal here to be, 60%, something like that. But this is why you would keep track of the numbers. You want to see if you're having winners, if you're having losers. And so the rest of these don't really matter here. Now, if you just delete formulas out of here, if you just delete numbers, this number gets deleted here. Let me copy that. Now, if we just delete that out, it messes up other things. It's not going to auto-calculate. It's not going to do any of this stuff. Put it back. This one, same thing. We'll copy that and then we'll delete it out. Now we're missing the gross profit. This thing is going to be off because it's not calculating gross profit anymore. Let's see if there's one that'll mess it up more. That won't do it. Okay, that's one that'll break things. So if we don't have our actual hours, we don't have our total percentages. If our total percentage doesn't calculate, we don't get our bonus amount, we don't get our total payouts. All right, now I broke it because I didn't copy it right. All right, so we're gonna go, at least you get to see real time, equals sum, parentheses, close parentheses, enter. Boom, got it back. Okay, so these are all really basic calculations for the formulas, but super effective. Like, I am by no means any kind of a spreadsheet wizard. I just know a handful of calculations and I'm able to do almost anything I want with it. Now, these are actual projects that we've completed. These are real last names, and these are the dates when we actually finished these. So these are recent projects. And we've got quite a few employees on this one. It was a bigger project, 14 grand, interior plus cabinets. So on this project, our gross profit, $5,600. Our bonus payout is $509.50. This lead painter gets $194. This project took a week, 5 days, Monday through Friday. Now, these two guys only worked 1 day on the project each. So their bonus is $18.53 each. Now he worked 3 days, he's got $55. These guys worked every day. They're $92 for the week. Our foreman got that extra 20% off the top. He got $194 for the week. Now on this project, this cabinet job, same thing here. So on this cabinet project, these are typically high margin, typically. $5,700 job, 2 guys, 5 days. Now our labor budget, $25.89, our labor cost, $25.47. So we're pretty much right on the money there. Our material budget was higher on this one than it should be. So we're at $724 for our materials, our commission $345. Gross profit, we hit our number, $2302, and we've got $181 left over to mess with. So he will get bonused out $108.97 on this project. He will get bonused out $72.64. Now here's a loser job. This one was like painting one fascia board here, one there, touch-ups. The guy had his roof replaced. We painted his house 5 years ago or so. And so it was a $1,080 project. Now we had, the reason I have this Monday here and then Thursday, Friday, this is actually the following week. We went there Thursday, Friday, and then had to go back the following Monday for 4 hours. It's probably only 2 hours of work, but I've got to pay my guy for a half day. So we had 16 hours budgeted for this one day. Our labor budget was $486. Our actual labor was $921. So we went way over on that. Our material budget was $162. We actually spent $91, so quite a bit under on that. But labor is what kills. It's just so expensive. So our gross profit, $432. We were minus $365 on this project. So I made, I don't know, $70 on this one. So this was a pretty good fail. I mean, it would have been better to just have these guys clean up the shop or something like that, rather than do the project. But this gives you insight, you know, on where you stand on these projects. If you're making money, if you're losing money, how did we lose money? You know, if this goes to zero, and our labor cost goes down by $100, now we're a little bit more in the green. But these are, you know, these will prompt you to dig deeper into a project. When we review these, if we have really big payouts on projects, then it's like, all right, what are we doing right? And vice versa. If we have really low payouts or loser jobs like this, what did we do wrong? You know, obviously we need to charge more for this project, but is there a way that we could have gotten it done faster? Better scope, better project management, you know, who knows? Okay, exterior project. This is another good one. It's a bigger house, $9,300. We had 5 people touch this project. This one doesn't need to be in there. So 5 different people were on this project. One guy's only for 1 day. Hours budgeted, 142. Actual is 140. Our labor budget, 4174. Our actual is 3,300. So we're quite a bit less on our hours. Our material budget, 1,391. We came in at 1,214. Commission we paid out 556. Gross profit is nice and healthy. Bonus payout also nice and healthy. So we've got 203 extra to the foreman on this one. Plus, based on hours worked, 185, 209. So these are really good payouts, really good bonus for the guys on this project. I mean, if you're doing a project like this and you're getting bonus $390 for the week on top of your paycheck, that's pretty solid. So, and we make our money. This is why it's okay for us to bonus this money out, is because we get paid. You know, we got our profit right here. Anything on top of that is cake. You know, if the guys want to work a little harder, a little faster, get a project done, you know, they can get rewarded for it. Now over here, this project went in between 2 weeks, which is why we have 16 hours, 12 hours. So we started on a Monday. This was only 4 hours for power washing here. Then we got rained out on Thursday, ended up coming back Monday and Tuesday to finish it up. So he had 4 hours for power washing plus 8 hours on Monday. Omar had 8 hours for Tuesday this week, 8 hours for Tuesday the following week, which is why I logged it this way. You could break this out and just do 2 versions of these for the same project, and it could just show a different week. You know, week 1, week 2, week 3 for larger projects. And basically that's it. So, my actual sample is going to be sheet protected, so it'll be there. You can see it. I noted up here, these are projects we completed recently. My labor cost includes 11% employer taxes, 12% workers' comp. Your workbook here, change the colors, do whatever you want with it. Put headers in, whatever. And then template instructions. And here, this is going to be a whole fixed area. You won't be able to edit this. And in this area, you will be able to edit. So if you run into trouble with this, shoot an email over PaintsCool, and we'll get it fixed up for you. But these basically formulas, you can mess things up or make it difficult on yourself if you're deleting calculations. But they're very simple calculations, so it's really not a problem to fix it. You just want to know which items you can or should edit and which ones you shouldn't. And we tried to kind of be pretty clear about what our calculations are, where you need to input costs versus what's already built in. So also one last thing, gross profit 40%. Our commission comes from that 40%. So we're doing our total minus our actual labor, minus our actual materials, minus our gross profit to get our bonus payout. We are not also subtracting commission. This commission for $96 is coming off of the $640. So this 40% for us ends up being 34%. Right? So the 34% is what we use to pay overhead, which is not our commission, but our office space, our administration, our insurances, all that stuff. So the 40% is what pays out our commission. So that bonus payout does not include an additional $96. It's just the $640 that comes off the top.